In the blue corner, from Mission, Texas, weighing 240 pounds, Merced Solis. In the red corner, from Minnesota, weighing in at 230 pounds, Dennis Stamp. Your referee for this contest, Amarillo Savoli. This is a one-fall or a 20-minute contest. Two of the greatest athletes in the world in this match. And sitting in at the table with me, Blackjack Mulligan. Blackjack Mulligan, we finally got the studio cleared after this championship wrestling mayhem that took place in the first bout. I'm wondering, Blackjack, why did you come in and help a little bit on that?
Well, I'll tell you, Nick, it's always been a policy of mine to take care of my own business, and I've always done that very well. And DiBiase's going to have to learn to take care of himself, and Murdoch too. But it was none of my business, and I'm going to take care of Jack Mulligan from now on, because I've been tagged up with a lot of people and been too successful, because one way or another, the champions have remained. That was one of the wildest matches I've ever seen on championship wrestling, Nick. And I know as all the stations across the United States, as they join us to watch the all-new championship wrestling, that they've got to enjoy this, because he's seen the Major League of Wrestling and the finest wrestlers in the world.
They most certainly have, Jack, and this is the #1 wrestling program in the nation today. We're very proud of it, and the two men in the ring right now are just two of the reasons why. Dennis Stamp, a great athlete from Concordia College, a tremendous amateur at one time, now a great professional, going up against a up-and-coming, I call him up-and-coming because he's relatively new in the sport, Merced Solis from Mission, Texas, one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen in the ring. And sports fans, if you haven't seen him in person, come out and see him. He is really tremendous. But, Jack, you know, we got big news on championship wrestling. The president of the NWA is going to be here next week, and I want you fans to be sure to tune in. Bob Geigel, the president of the NWA, will be here with big news pertaining to the up-and-coming world champion Dick Murdoch and his possibilities of a match with Harley Race. It's big news. Of course, Jack, I realize Jack Mulligan, who's sitting in with me right now. Jack, you're a numbered in the top contenders for the title. I'm not taking anything away from you, but Bob Geigel will be here next week, and he will be presenting a very outstanding award. You might tell the fans about it.
That's exactly right, Nick, and it's been a long time coming, and it's long overdue. And I'm proud that Bob Geigel is coming down here, because I've got to be in the running. I've got to be right in there. And I haven't got it all sewed up yet, but the Wrestler of the Year award, which is a coveted award, and it's going to be presented by the president of National Wrestling Alliance. That's an honor within itself for the man to fly all the way down here and to present that award. And I'm ready, believe me. And
Jack, I know that your name is on the list of possibilities. Of course, I don't even know myself who the Wrestler of the Year award will be presented to, but I am aware of the fact that you're on that list.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt now, but in the ring right now, I'll tell you, back to this Merced Solis, he's got to be a comer. Believe me, the world ratings are going to see his name very, very shortly, and he's got a true test. If he's ever had a test in his young wrestling career, he's one of the young lions. Dennis Stamp, a national champion in his own right there, an amateur champion, and he's always been in the rankings himself as a professional. And if Merced Solis can pull this victory off right here, it'll be a big feather in his cap, Nick.
You bet it is. Merced Solis is one of my favorite wrestlers to watch, sports fans, and believe me, he is great. And just like he said, he hasn't received all the recognition that he really deserves as yet, but it's coming.
You know, Nick, back to that Wrestler of the Year, there was a beautiful takedown right there. Back to that Wrestler of the Year award, you know, the man that wins that is the man that portrays and presents to the public the greatest victories. The man that has the greatest victories has the best image in wrestling. And let me tell you something. It is the epitome of the sport of wrestling. It's the next thing to being world champion, because they do pick the Wrestler of the Year every year, and I know that it's well-deserved by the man that gets it, believe me.
That's right, Jack, and you fans be sure to be tuned in next week and watch and see who does get that very coveted award of wrestling. Merced Solis on the top side of Dennis Stamp now has his legs tied up, both legs tied up. Dennis Stamp in a very bad position here. Let's see if he can bridge out. Dennis Stamp is a tremendously powerful man in a bridge. No, he kicks off and brings him over in a monkey flip.
He most certainly does. I'll tell you, Merced is learning every day. There he took him down. He's got that leg right back to the leg again. And Solis, every day, he gets better and better and better. It's remarkable, his progress in the sport of wrestling. He was a great football player without any doubt. And he gave up the sport of football to come into wrestling because he told me one day, he says, Jack, I like the individual contact of wrestling. You're on your own, and you win or lose is up to you. And back to the question you asked me before, I've always been on my own. I always kind of like it that way because if it's in the loss column, it belongs to you. If it's a victory, which I have many of, the victory belongs to you, and victory is very, very sweet, Nick Roberts.
It most certainly is. That's the name of the game, and that's where the big money is. Merced Solis back on those legs again. What a fast man this is. He's an incredibly quick person, isn't he, Jack?
You know something? All of us in the sport of wrestling have got to take heed to this young man right here because I'm sure he's going to be after the international championship, which is just a step below the world championship. And I think every one of us sitting around here, every one of us in the sport of wrestling, had better watch this man because you're going to have to beat him to keep yourself in the rankings because he's told everyone by the victories he's had that he's got to be reckoned with, and he's got to be reckoned with right now, not tomorrow, but as of right now.
He most certainly has. Merced Solis waiting for that break. Dennis Stamp has his leg. Let's see if Stamp... Nope, Stamp does not give him a clean break. He throws that elbow in there. Drives Merced Solis' head into that turnbuckle, whips him into the ropes. Solis comes off with a small package. This could be got a 2 count.
I'll tell you what, he almost had Stamp right there, back to the leg again. Listen, Nick, I'd like to say hello to a good friend of mine I played football with out in California, Ray Schulten. I hope Ray is, as they join the network here, I hope that Ray's watching, and I'm going to be out there pretty soon, and I want to tell Ray and all the boys in North California hello, all right?
You bet, Jack Mulligan. Sports fans, Merced Solis once again on the top side of Dennis Stamp. Staying in there hard, staying in there steady on the legs of Stamp.
You know, Nick, it's amazing as the great wrestlers across the United States. You know, we wrestle everywhere, Salt Lake City, California, Albuquerque, and in the great state of Texas, you know. And it's amazing the conditioning and the travel they do to get in the ring and still perform the way they do.
7 minutes having elapsed in this match now, sports fans. Dennis Stamp choking on Merced Solis. Drops that leg across the face of Merced Solis. Dennis Stamp moving in from behind. Gives him a tremendous judo chop right to the back of the neck. Just takes Merced, whips him into that turnbuckle. Ooh, those very hard turnbuckles.
Got Solis in a little bit of trouble right now, but I'll tell you what, the mark of a great wrestler is his ability to come back. And we're going to see if Solis can conquer this opponent. He's got a tough one. There he is behind him. Come behind him. Looks like a roll-up, Nick. Whoop, he shoves him off. The expertise of Dennis Stamp. He's cross body right there. 1, 2, 3. He's got Dennis
That's
Stamp.
it. That's it. In 7.5 minutes, Merced Solis, the winner. There you see it. The official